Hello students, this is Shweta Roy. This video is for Chapter 7, History, Part 3, Urban Changes under Colonialism. In this video, we are going to discuss about development of railways, post and telegraph, and then we have the case study of Delhi. So in that we have many subtopics. Today we will only discuss the urban center Delhi. So these are some of the important topics which we are going to discuss in this video. We have already discussed about police reforms. So there was a police commission appointed to review the earlier Thanedari police system in 1860. After that, after reviewing it in 1860, in 1861, the Police Act came into existence. First, they reviewed the earlier Thanedari police system and then they brought the Police Act in 1861. Now, this act aimed at reforming the existing police system according to their need. So, a separate police department was formed. So in that Inspector General was there, which was head. Under this Inspector General there was Deputy Inspector General who used to assist him. And this Deputy Inspector General was assisted by Assistant District Superintendent. So like this, the head was Inspector General of Police, and his duty was to check the efficient working and discipline of entire police department. Now in subordinate police force, what happened? It was Inspector of Police. Under him the head constable was there, under him the sergeant was there, and under him the constable was there. This was into the subordinate police force. So like this, the police reforms took place with the Police Act of 1861. And this Police Act of 1861 was there till the end of the British rule. Some amendments took place in between, some minor amendment took place, but it remained till the end of the British rule. So this is very important. Now we have the topic development of railways. So to facilitate internal communication for the defense of India and for the expansion of internal trade, the British felt need of railways. For trade purpose also they needed to connect, they needed to travel, and also for defense, for to control the territories, they need to communicate with the other places. So like this they felt the need of the railways. And Lord Dalhousie, under this Lord Dalhousie, the railway system was developed in the India. And that was done in the second half of 19th century. So first, at first time railways was introduced in 1853. So you can see a picture is given on April 16th 1853. First time train ran in India. So on 16th April 1853 at 3:35 p.m. the first train in India left from Bombay to Thane. This question comes many times, from where, on which date, what was the date when first time railways was introduced, or from where to where the first train ran in India. This question comes, so this you need to remember. So on April 16th 1853 first time train ran in India, and it was from Bombay to Thane. It was the distance which this train covered was actually 20 miles. Now in 1854, a railway line was built from Calcutta to Raniganj coalfield. And from 1856, the construction of various train routes started. By 1906, in India, there was about 30,000 miles of railway track. Now, this railway network was beneficial for both, for Indians also and for British also. Now, it was easy, the movement of goods for internal and external trade. Now it was able to happen. Also, it linked the interior cities to the port cities, which was very beneficial. When there is any famine, it was very beneficial. Also, it helped in the development of newer towns. Now the people were able to reach the distant places. So what happened? The new towns were emerged. So these were some of the things which came with the development of railways. Then we have post and telegraph. So under this Lord Dalhousie, Post Office Act was passed in 1854, sorry. So in 1853, under Lord Dalhousie, railway was introduced, and next year, 1854, Post Office Act was passed under Lord Dalhousie. Now a Director General was appointed, who was looking over the work of Post Office in all the presidencies. So there was a Director General who was appointed. Also the postage stamps were introduced. It was issued. So because of all this, Lord Dalhousie is regarded as father of electric telegraph. In 1852, Electric Telegraph Department was set up. And the first telegraph was inaugurated in 1853 from Calcutta to Agra. Now under Dalhousie, about 4,000 miles of telegraph lines were constructed, and it was connecting Calcutta to Bombay, Madras, Peshawar and other parts of country. So like this, the post and telegraph were developed. So you need to remember some of the points, and those points are: In 1852, Electric Telegraph Department was set up. In 1853, first telegraph line was inaugurated, which was from Calcutta to Agra. And in 1854, Post Office Act was passed. So these are some important topics from this, important points from this topic. Then we have a case study. And this case study is about Delhi. So we will do a detailed case study of Delhi. Delhi was the urban center and it was officially known as National Capital Territory of Delhi, NCT. And it was locally known as Delhi or Delhi. It is the largest metropolitan city by area and second largest by population. Largest by area and second largest by population. This region, this NCT includes Noida, Greater Noida, Ghaziabad, Gurgaon, Faridabad and other small nearby towns. Also, it includes New Delhi, which is the capital of India. Now, Delhi is continuously inhabited since 6th century BC. From that time, it is continuously inhabited because it is located on the bank of river Yamuna. And as the early people used to live near the river banks. So this city is located on the bank of the river Yamuna, and that is why this is the reason it is continuously inhabited from since 6th century BC. Now at least 14 capital cities were found in an area of about 60 square miles on the left bank of river Yamuna. Also, the city Delhi, it was the site of Indraprasth, which was the capital of Pandavas, and it is mentioned in the Mahabharata. Also, you would have read about the slave dynasty. Qutbuddin Aibak, who was the founder of slave dynasty, he led the foundation of Delhi Sultanate in 1206 AD. And after that, there were Khiljis, Tughlaqs, Sayyids and Lodhis, who continued with the Delhi Sultanate. So these all dynasties together made the Delhi Sultanate. They built many of the forts. They made sequence of forts and townships. And that constitute the 7 cities of Delhi. Now the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan built the 7th city of Delhi in 1639 and it was called Shah Jahanabad, and now it is known as Old Delhi. Now this area was the capital of Mughal Empire from 1649 to 1857. Now this Shah Jahanabad, this area was having mansions, mosques and gardens, and it was shaped like a quarter cycle. with the Red Fort at its focal point. This Red Fort or Lal Killa, this is the palace complex, and in west of this Red Fort, in the west side of this Red Fort, there was the walled city, which was within 14 gates. And in that, the major gate is Kashmiri Gate, Mori Gate, Lahori Gate, Ajmeri Gate, Delhi Gate, and Nigambodh Gate. These are the main gates of that walled city. So like this, there were 14 gates, but these are the major gates in that. And the main street of Shahjahanabad is called Chandni Chowk. This Chandni Chowk runs from Red Fort to Fatehpuri Masjid. Chandni Chowk is from Red Fort to Fatehpuri Masjid. In the south of the street, there is Dariba, which is a densely packed residential area. It is a residential area which is crowded. And beyond the Dariba, there is Jama Masjid. And if you know, Jama Masjid is the largest mosque in India. And it was the highest building in city those days. In earlier days, it was highest building in the city. During the reign of Shah Jahan, Delhi was the important center of Sufi culture. There are many dargahs, khanqahs, eidgahs over there. Also, there are open areas, wide streets, lands, and water channels. But these facilities which were there, they were enjoyed only by the royal and higher sections of the society. This was only for the higher sections of the society. And for poor people, there were mud houses, which was there in between the royal mansions. So poor people were living in the mud houses. Also, the poetry, art, and culture, these things were only enjoyed by the men. Women were not having the rights to enjoy these things. I hope you all understood all the topics taught in this video. Thank you.